Kamala Harris rally in Georgia featuring former President Barack Obama and multiple celebrities, including Bruce Springsteen. Our Brian Todd is taking a closer look at what's going on. Brian, the Democrats are amping up the star power right now, with Beyonce set to appear with the vice president tomorrow.
That's right, Wolf. Kamala Harris's campaign not only has Beyonce and Bruce Springsteen on its side, but also the significant endorsement of Taylor Swift. What's not clear is whether all these high wattage celebrity endorsements will actually move voters.
I'ma keep running 'cause the winner don't quit on themselves.
Her Grammy-nominated ballad Freedom is already a staple at Kamala Harris's rallies. But on Friday, pop superstar Beyonce will up the ante, appearing on stage with the vice president at a rally in Houston.
This is a huge, huge get for Kamala Harris. It generates excitement, it generates buzz, and that's what Kamala Harris's team wants in these final days.
The celebrity buzz for Harris also ramps up tonight with an appearance by rock star Bruce Springsteen, who will take the stage with the vice president and former President Barack Obama at a Get Out the Vote rally in Atlanta. Harris said she's honored by it.
I think it just shows the breadth and depth of the support that we have and also the enthusiasm.
The sheer star power that's been brought to the 2024 race is palpable.
Are you ready for it?
Harris has also scored the endorsement of musical icon Taylor Swift, who brings more than 280 million Instagram followers and a proven record of being able to inspire young people to register to vote.
With Taylor, it's not just about her influence, it's her power. It's her ability to speak to a massive fandom.
If Kamala wins...
Harris has won endorsements from musician Lizzo, pop and R&B star Usher, actor George Clooney, Oprah Winfrey, who spoke at the Democratic National Convention.
Values and character matter most of all.
With the future president of the United States!
And from rapper Megan Thee Stallion, who also appeared with the vice president at a rally. Donald Trump has scored a high-profile endorsement from ex-owner Elon Musk, who's also contributed tens of millions of dollars to boost Trump's campaign.
Donald Trump has to win this election. It really does.
Trump's also won the endorsement of country rock star Kid Rock, who performed at the Republican National Convention. An endorsement from actor Dennis Quaid, who's campaigned for Trump, and from icons of combat sports like UFC head Dana White and pro wrestler Hulk Hogan.
Let Trumpomania run wild, brother!
These may not be the most popular with Gen Z college girls, but men, that is a big part of Donald Trump's coalition, and that's who he's trying to tap into with those celebrities. He does need those celebrities to validate him.
On Harris's side, the suspense now lies with one tantalizing possibility.
I'm sure that they would love for Taylor Swift to appear alongside Kamala Harris.
Now, a Harris campaign official declined to answer a question on whether Taylor Swift would appear with the vice president on the campaign trail, only saying, quote, "Wouldn't that be great?" When Swift endorsed Harris in September, Donald Trump said at the time that she would probably pay a price for that in the marketplace, and a Trump campaign spokeswoman said it was more evidence that the Democrats had become the party of the wealthy elite. Wolf?
All right, Brian Todd reporting for us. Brian, thank you very much.
Madam Ambassador, good to see you. So tonight we're going to see President Obama with Vice President Harris. Also, the boss, Bruce Springsteen, in Georgia. Tomorrow in Houston, we're going to see Beyonce, Willie Nelson joining Vice President Harris. We saw this in 2016, too, stars coming out for Hillary Clinton. I wonder if you have any concern about the celebrities joining, because I just want to play this from one of the undecided Pennsylvania voters in last night's town hall.
I am very big on details. I'm big on numbers. I am a widow with 100% responsibility for my family, for my kids, for their tuitions, for my bills. And so I do my own taxes. I'm very much on top of every dollar. And so that is where, and I'm not really getting it from either candidate, to be honest. So that's where I just want to see what lines up.
So Pam, who was in that clip, she doesn't want Beyonce. She wants some detailed answers on what Kamala Harris will do. What's your take?
Well, first of all, she didn't say she didn't want Beyonce. She said she wanted policy specifics. Let me give you my take, Jake. I thought that was a very interesting post-debate segment you did with five, not you, but CNN,
John King did,
John King did with 5 of the people who asked questions during the debate about what their thoughts were going in versus coming out of the debate, or not debate, the town hall, which should have been a debate, but Donald Trump chickened out of. So it was interesting. 3 of the 5 had, all of the 5 had come in undecided. 3 of the 5 said afterwards that they had decided as a result of the town hall to support Kamala Harris. 2, including Pam, said they hadn't decided, but neither of the 2 said they were more inclined to vote for Donald Trump after the town hall. So I think what the vice president will do and should do is more than one thing at once. It's possible to generate enthusiasm, bring out the vote, energize supporters with things like Beyonce and Bruce Springsteen and Barack Obama, and at the same time do as she has been doing and did last night, which is to lay out her specific plans to benefit average American people who are dealing with high costs and a number of other particular challenges. So she has to outline, as she did, her plan to reduce grocery prices by putting in place a federal ban on price gouging. Her plan to lower housing costs by building 3 million more new affordable homes by giving tax incentives to do that to builders, while at the same time enabling first-time home buyers to access $25,000 in new down payment assistance to give them a foot in the door, quite literally. She will reduce health care costs and ensure that the price of insulin at $35 a month, which is now the case for seniors, and $2,000 cap per year on all your prescription drug prices, which seniors will have starting next year, will apply to all Americans who need assistance. So these are very concrete, specific plans like strengthening Social Security and Medicare and making Medicare apply for to caring for your elderly loved ones at home that will benefit people, that voters need to continue to hear, while at the same time, and I hope we'll have a chance to talk about this, making the contrast with Donald Trump, who's all about revenge and retribution, rather than getting things done for the American people.
So with 12 days left, it's time for closing arguments. A senior Trump campaign aide told Fox that the Trump closing argument is, quote, Harris broke it, Trump will fix it. What's Harris's closing argument?
Harris's closing argument is, I have a list of concrete plans and I will get them done. It's my to-do list, whereas Donald Trump has a hit list of people he wants to go after. That's his agenda. It's all about him. It's all about retribution. It's all about turning the military against the so-called enemy within, which is all of those of us who may differ with his policies and approaches, rather than concrete plans to benefit the American people. And to the extent that he's outlined any plan related to the economy, it's all about tariffs. The analysis could not be starker. You saw, scores of Nobel laureates come out today and say that they support Kamala Harris over Donald Trump because her policies will benefit the economy as opposed to his. For tariffs, he is proposing to up to 20% tariff on all imported goods from all countries, which will cost the average American family an additional $4,000 a year. Increased cost. That's his plan. It will also tank the economy and take what is, in macroeconomic terms, the strongest economy in the world today and in decades, and turn it into a mess.
Yeah, as the campaign brings out its star power over the next several days, what I'm being told is that the vice president is also honing in on her own closing argument, and we've already started to get a glimpse of it. Recall that during the CNN town hall yesterday, she said that former President Donald Trump had a, quote, enemies list when she had a, quote, to-do list. She repeated that today, and I'm told by a senior campaign official that that is going to feature prominently over the next several days as the vice president doubles down on drawing that stark contrast between her and the former president. In addition to that, she will continue to amplify issues like reproductive freedom, which she has been a key voice on since the beginning of the year before she was even the top of the party's ticket. But of course, as you mentioned, the stars are here in Georgia. Bruce Springsteen performing a little bit ago. Of course, he has been a frequent presence in the waning days of the election for Democratic candidates. And soon we're going to hear from former President Barack Obama, followed by the vice president. This will mark their first joint campaign appearance. He, of course, has already been deployed on a blitz of his own as he tries to mobilize voters. And that is the key, Aaron. A senior campaign official telling me the next several days are going to be focused on mobilization and capitalizing on early voting. That is where they think they can build the most momentum. Here in DeKalb County, almost 1/3 of active voters have already cast their ballots. So that is the type of energy and enthusiasm that they are trying to gin up here tonight in Georgia, a crucial battleground state, one that they want to put in the vice president's column. And of course, the vice president going to be continuing, or beginning, I should say, her closing argument tonight and moving forward. Aaron.
And of course, Democratic star power out there, Senator Raphael Warnock walking out on the stage right now. Everyone is here with me here as we get ready for this appearance. And Bakari, as Priscilla's reporting, we are just minutes away from former President Obama taking the stage alongside Kamala Harris. And you say that this moment, the fact that they'll actually be together at the same time on the same stage, is huge for the campaign. How come?
Well, I mean, the campaign, and like many campaigns around this time, has been in GOTV probably since the debate. And so, right, what you're trying to do is make sure you get voters from the pews, you get voters from the beds, from the couches, from their workplace. You're trying to get them to the voting booth. And so when you have star power tonight, I mean, you can't even sleep on Raphael Warnock, but Bruce Springsteen, when you have Barack Obama, when you have this litany of celebrities who are coming out urging you to go out to vote, that energy is palpable. And we know, and we've seen it before, that you can win Georgia. The person who's won Georgia in recent history the most has been somebody like Raphael Warnock and Jon Ossoff and even Joe Biden. And so this energy in this particular place, in Atlanta, in Clarkson, right outside of Atlanta, is huge. I mean, look at this. Let's juxtapose Barack Obama, Bruce Springsteen, Raphael Warnock, and Kamala Harris next to the fact that over the past 2 decades, 3 decades, there has been no one who's run for president or vice president who has endorsed Donald Trump, save for Sarah Palin. That is a stark contrast, and that's why tonight's events are so important.
David?
Yeah, I think we've discussed this before. On the night before the election in the city of Philadelphia, I was in the crowd watching almost the same lineup, right? I saw Bruce Springsteen, John Bon Jovi, Beyonce, Jay-Z, Hillary and Bill Clinton, right? and a bigger crowd. No, she was not there. And about 30,000 people. And the next day, guess what happened? We whooped Hillary Clinton in Pennsylvania. So, you know, it's a nice concert to attend. If I was there, I might go hear Bruce Springsteen tonight. But I don't think it matters squat for November 5th. So enjoy your concert, people. Have a nice time.
All right, Lulu, I think you might express your thoughts slightly differently, but I do know you have some skepticism on the impact of an event like this, although, as I know you've noted, Michelle Obama will be appearing with Kamala Harris on Saturday in Michigan. Now, we're in the final days here, so does it make a difference?
Well, I think, and I have said that Michelle Obama actually, I think, does bring some real star power. She inspires and motivates specifically women, and especially women of color. They have a real affinity with her. I mean, we did see, for example, Oprah Winfrey really move numbers when she endorsed Barack Obama back in the day, and I think she brings that kind of sort of emotional connection. But this lineup, I actually do agree with David here. I think it's a lovely concert. I do think bringing energy and having these events is good. It focuses the media's attention. I'm not sure it actually moves the vote.
Right. I guess that's the crucial question.
That's
so, Harry,
not the purpose, though. I mean,
okay, go ahead, Bakari, before I bring in Harry. Go ahead.
That's not the... I'm sorry. That's not the purpose, and I'm sad that people are missing it.
Not to get out the
purpose is to get the purpose. The purpose, it is to get out the vote. It's not to move voters. It's not to persuade anybody. This is purely get out the vote. This is purely GOTV. This isn't moving people from Republican or on the fence. These individuals who are in this crowd, these individuals who are in DeKalb, Fulton, Gwinnett, Clayco, all of these individuals, from Magic City to the pulpits in New Birth, are going to go out and vote because they hear that voice, they hear that echo, and what they will get from an event like tonight is a sense of urgency, which is far different than what everybody else is talking about.
Yeah, I don't think hearing Bruce Springsteen's voice is going to make him go vote, Bakari. Sorry.
All right. Well, let's just.
Well, yeah, you should meet Barack
Thank you,
Hussein
gentlemen.
Obama.
Let's let Aaron ask me the question.
Harry, I got to get you in here. Okay, so
Thank you.
let's put some
Jeez,
numbers
boys,
on this
come on.
conversation. Let's get some numbers in there. The
Thank
numbers
you.
of the crucial must-win swing state of Georgia, certainly must-win for Trump. He was there yesterday. Harris tonight with Obama. As I said, momentarily we'll hear them speak. But the polls that we see in the state are constantly within the margin of error, neck and neck. But you see something very specific about Georgia.
Yeah, you know, look, I've been saying this entire campaign that I think the best track for Kamala Harris to get to 270 electoral votes runs through the Great Lakes. And when you look at the campaign visits that both the Trump campaign and obviously the Harris campaign have been doing, where have they visited the least? They've actually visited Georgia the least out of any of the swing states, which to me lines up with what we're seeing in the polling data, which is that Kamala Harris's best path to 270 electoral votes runs through the Great Lakes. It does not, in fact, run through the Sun Belt. Yes, they're having that rally here tonight, but it's actually a relatively rare rally compared to the other rallies that the Harris-Walz campaign have actually put forth.
Okay, Bakari, let me ask you about another number that I have been thinking about for now 24 hours since I first saw the Wall Street Journal poll. There is a sub number in there on favorability. Okay, 53% of registered voters in the United States in the Wall Street Journal poll, which is a gold standard, poll, have an unfavorable view of Harris. 53%. That is up, and it is in fact a higher unfavorable than Donald Trump's. Okay, what's going on, Bakari? Do you just think that the polls is totally wrong? I mean, or what?
So. Listen, I talked to people on the Kamala Harris campaign, and one of the things that we've done is hopped off the polar coaster a long time ago. We've kind of thrown these polls out the window. What you see is people dumping polls in on different things. You have the JiffyLubeInsights.com poll, probably some of David's friends or something dumping polls out there. I know the Wall Street Journal
This
has.
is the Wall Street Journal, Bakari.
But nobody is watching that because people started voting 3 weeks ago. I mean, that's why this conversation is fascinating, because you know what we are watching? We're watching early voting. We're watching trends around the country, particularly in these 7 states. We're watching these events. And yes, she may have been to Georgia the least, but you know where she was last Saturday? In Georgia. Where is she today? In Georgia. They're doing activation events at Morehouse and Spelman this weekend for homecoming, where 30,000 people will be. And so, look, I get it. We've seen the Bloomberg poll where she's popped on the economy. We've seen the Wall Street Journal poll about favorability, this, that, or the third. That's not where the campaign is, and I encourage people to hop off of that polar coaster. I don't really have an answer to the question, because what I am watching is the early voting in Pennsylvania.
All right, so tell me what you're seeing then. Are you saying that early voting is showing you that that the unfavorables are wrong, and that they are overwhelmingly going for Harris in a way that the GOP can't make up for? I mean, are you seeing something that clear?
Oh, I don't know. I don't want to go as far as to say they can't make it up, but I will tell you this, that every Democrat I know who has some sense of reading early voting, who doesn't necessarily compare the early voting of 2024 to that of 2020, because that's completely asinine, believes that we're doing extremely well. I mean, you have banked 360,000 plus votes in David Urban's state. That's not including the independents, which we know are breaking for Kamala Harris. That's not including the 10 to 12% of Republicans she's probably going to win in that state. And so when you're banking those votes, you're actually talking about metrics that matter. Michigan, turnout, great. Early voting. Wisconsin, same thing. And so, look, we can talk about polls, but for me, votes count, votes matter.
Can I just jump in here for a second? I think what's fascinating here is what you're seeing in the closing messages. What Donald Trump keeps saying over and over again is she's dumb, she's stupid. He's using those words deliberately because he wants the message to be that you cannot trust her, and that is why you might be seeing those unfavorables popping. He likes to use these repetitive words so those words get into people's psyche. On the Harris side, you're seeing a different message, also negative. This man cannot be trusted. He is a threat to democracy. He is a fascist. He is dangerous. So the closing messages from both campaigns are actually very similar. They are both very negative, and they're both trying to persuade people to say, you cannot trust this person with this country.
All right,
Aaron,
Harry,
I think it's
yeah, go ahead, David. Yep.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was going to say, when you're talking about that poll, the number that sticks out to me is that right track, wrong track number. Because that is important. And that number is so significant. It is emblematic of the tide that the Harris campaign is swimming against when 75% of Americans feel the country's going in the wrong direction. Well, maybe it's not 75% in this poll, but it's in that range. That is a change election. People do not want to keep going in the wrong track generally. And so I think that is the most significant number in that poll.
It's not based on reality, though.
And by the way, that's
not
just
based on reality, though. I mean, the IMF just came out and said no, but the IMF just came out and said that the United States is now the #1 economy. We are seeing, gas prices come down. I understand that this has been a difficult period.
These are people's feelings, Lulu.
I understand.
These are people's feelings.
I'm just talking about facts. That's all.
Okay.
Okay. I will tell the Uber driver that I was with yesterday that you don't feel his pain because he can't fill up his gas tank.
I'm not saying I don't feel the pain. I'm just simply talking about the numbers.
He should go to the IMF report.
I'm just talking about the numbers. I'm just simply talking about the numbers.
One more set of numbers.
I'm talking about real people.
Okay. Harris and Obama are going to be on the stage in just a moment. But before they come out, Harry, I want to ask you one more thing about the numbers.
Yeah.
And that is, Lulu and David were agreeing a moment ago on sort of the importance of, or lack thereof, of having sort of these star power entertainers on stage. Bruce Springsteen, Eminem was earlier this week, Beyonce tomorrow. But of course, Harris has most notably been endorsed by Taylor Swift. So you looked into what the impact of that has been. And it actually appears there may have been some on Taylor Swift.
Yeah, I mean, Donald Trump said essentially that Taylor Swift was going to pay for her political activity. And if you look at Taylor Swift's net favorability rating, compare it now versus a year ago. Look at that. It's dropped by 17 points. Republicans have turned against her. It's not that she's necessarily convinced too many folks to register to vote. She might have convinced a few. But what we've really seen in the numbers is that she's run into the Mack truck that is known as Donald Trump and the MAGA base, and it has caused her from being one of the most popular folks in this country to being considerably less popular.